Welcome to the Path to Purpose interview show, where we share our unique and universal stories about finding and fulfilling our purpose. My name is Katja, and I'm your host, story coach, and mentor for purpose driven entrepreneurs. My intention for this show is to inspire you on your path to purpose. And today I have a pleasure to interview my dear friend, mentor, and online challenge expert, Alina Vincent, who has almost a decade of experience in designing challenges that get 5 or 6 figure results. She's gifted in her ability to quickly simplify complex ideas into actionable, logical, result generating steps without overwhelm. And this leads to a simple step by step approach on creating successful online challenges and engaged Facebook communities. And let's find more about Alina's path, and I will also ask her best tips on how to create profitable online challenges. So let's get started here. So, welcome, Alina. I'm so excited to have you here.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me here, Katya.
And could you please tell us a little bit more about you and your background, and also share where you are located so we can put you on the map?
Sure. So I live in Reno, Nevada. So that's the easy question to answer. Super fun here. I don't think I ever want to move out of here. It's beautiful. And as far as my path, it's been kind of interesting because I never set up to be an entrepreneur, never thought I would have a business, and definitely not $1 million business. So when I first started my career, I was teaching in the university. I was teaching physics and computer science. Eventually, I got a job as instructional designer, creating online courses, some of the very first online and hybrid courses at our university. But then eventually, I had this niggling feeling that there's more in life, that I didn't want to be in the box and have a boss. So I quit my job and started a photography business. Quickly realized that even though I got it to 6 figures, I created another job for myself because it was all one on one work. It was all me working with people and was completely unscalable, unleveraged. So I made another shift, and that's where I found myself in this business. So I help people with business strategies. I help people, as you just introduced me. I help people with creating engaging and active communities, 5 day challenges, creating online programs. And my whole entire story with challenges began from when I was still a photographer because I was participating in a lot of fun challenges where we would challenge ourselves and say, hey, let's shoot like a picture a day and post it in our group. Or let's try something weird like underwater photography, or we're only going to shoot black and white. So it's always been a way to stretch yourself out of your comfort zone, try something new, compare the notes. And we as humans, we love being challenged because it helps us grow. So I had that love for challenges, but all of the challenges I've ever participated in were more for fun, more for community engagement, and it's something we kind of did without actually ever anybody like hosting a challenge. There was no offers, there was no monetization for it. So when I first started my business, this coaching business that I have right now, one of the thoughts I had was how do I combine that idea of having fun, being stretched, being challenged, learning new things with this idea that you need to create digital programs and you need to gather your followers and you need to find a way to attract clients. So I started doing challenges over 7 years ago, and that kind of what put me on the path to where I'm right now. Because creating challenges would help me basically grow my business from zero, from completely nothing to over 7 figures in just 4 years.
Oh, yeah, and I have witnessed that, and because I got to know you, and then I saw you like your business just expanded so quickly that it was like, whoa, I want that too. And I did join your challenge program, and I will talk about that in a moment more. But just in case, I think most of our audience has either done the challenge or participated in one. But if there is somebody there like, what's this online challenge? Like, can you give your definition? What's an online challenge?
Sure. So, in my definition, online challenge is a mini training where you're taking a group of participants through a set series of actions in order for them to achieve a common goal. So and there's right now, if you look around, there's so many variations of challenges. There's pace challenges, there's free challenges, there's 5 day challenges, 20-day challenges, like 90-day challenges. So you name it and you're probably gonna see it. So my formula, so something that I've created after putting over 10,000 hours in creating challenges and figuring out what works, what doesn't work, and working with thousands of entrepreneurs on their own challenges. So I've created a formula so my formula is for free 5 day challenges. So it has a start date, it has an end date. We do them in an engaged Facebook community. So there's a whole bunch of interaction, whole bunch of engagement, whole bunch of gamification. And it's a simple 5 day experience where you give people tons of value in very small bite-sized pieces. So it's not one of those challenges where every day there's a 2 hour video that you have to go through. It's seriously 5 to 10 minute video over 5 days. So very precise directions, very precise actions. We get people into action to start getting results. And after 5 days, they fall in love with you. You develop a huge amount of know, like, and trust with you. And as participants, you get results. As a person who's putting on a challenge, you get this new huge community of raving fans who are asking you what's next and how do we work with you.
Yes. And you actually answered my next question was what makes challenges so popular? And I think the key there is the results that you actually get results already within 5 days. So that
Yes.
just is like, wow, oh my goodness, I
Well,
can do.
there's, I think, three different things that make challenges super popular.
Mhm.
Number one is you are getting precise answers to your questions. So if you create your challenge correctly, if you choose the topic that your people want, it's an easy way to say, like, yes, of course, I've been looking for this. Where have you been all my life? I want to know exactly this. So number one, you're getting information because we're always looking at how to do this, how to do that. Number two, you are getting results right away. It's not one of those things that you learn it theoretically and never implement. The format of the challenge puts people into action. So you're absolutely right. The second thing is to give them a win, but not just one win. If you design the challenge correctly, every single day people experience a win. And when people experience several wins in a row, they get addicted, they get hooked on succeeding, they get hooked on taking action, and they want more. And of course, they associate you with their success. And then the third piece is the community element. So that third
Mhm.
piece, that what makes challenges super effective, is we are separated. We are lonely. Most of us, especially after the year we've had
Yeah.
after the pandemic, we like the world is more isolated than it has ever been. So being part of the community where you feel like you belong, where you feel like there's other people who also don't know the answers to the stuff you don't know. So you're like, oh, I'm not alone. I'm not behind. So that, and then you have the support, you have the accountability, you have this feeding off of each other's ideas. So the
Mhm.
community element is one of the most important pieces why people love it. So I'm running my challenge this week, just wrapping it up, and in the comments that we're seeing, people are saying, oh, I love being part of the community. I love all the comments and the feedback I'm getting. Wow, I already connected with so many people. So it's not even, so part of it, yes, they're learning, they're getting results, they're furthering their education on whatever they wanted to do. And they're also feeling like they're not alone. So that's a big part of why challenge is so popular. Because imagine, like, if you download a report, you're not going to be like, yay, me and thousand other people downloaded this report. Yay. It just doesn't happen, right?
You don't
But in a
connect.
challenge,
Yeah.
yes, you don't connect. You don't have that. So community happens when your customers and your potential customers interact with each other because
Mhm.
you have a social proof. You have people saying, yay, that worked for me. This was amazing. Or I'm struggling with this. We can help. And people are helping each other. If you don't have a platform where you're developing your own community for your own business, you're definitely missing out. And challenge is such a perfect way to start building that platform and engage and energize it anytime you do the next challenge.
Yes. And that is actually how I have grown my Lightworkers Who Succeed on Purpose community. Because when I joined the program that you offer to how to create a challenge in 2017. Oh my,
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's like 4 years ago.
and I've been doing challenges ever since because I just found this is so wonderful way to give value and get that community growing. Because I remember 2012, I started my first Facebook group. It got 12 members and then it slowly died. But it hurt because I was super excited to get people together. But these challenges are also one way to bring the activity in your group and really bring the community together. And one of the things, though, because now when I started 2017 with challenges, that time, well, there was challenges happening, but it wasn't like now. So one of the questions I have now that how do you stand out with your challenge when there is challenges happening all the time, every week?
Yes. Well, the number one reason for your challenge to stand out is you have to choose the topic your ideal clients want. Because I see a lot of challenges, people saying like, "Hey, join my challenge," and then my thought is like, I don't know that people want to learn that. Like, I've never heard anybody say like, "This is what I want to do." I don't have a specific example right now, and I don't want to put anybody on the spot. But the point is, the challenge should be about something your people are already asking you about, not something about you want to teach. Because if it's something that you like, everybody needs to know it, most likely your challenge will fall flat because people will be like, eh. But if you say like so for my people, one of the top things they want is they want to get more clients, they want to be more visible, they want to see more credible. So a lot of challenges that I've created have that as the core. So I have authority accelerator challenge. I say, hey, would you like to have more authority? And my people's hands immediately go up and they're like, yes, this is what I've been, this has been my plan for this year. I want to create more authority.
Yeah.
Or I say, do you want to have more visibility? Increase your reach, expand the people you're getting attracted to you. And people go, yes, this is exactly what's been missing in my business. So you have to find the topic for your challenge, something that your ideal clients, it's their top of mind problem. It's something they're like, yes, I need exactly that. So one of my clients created a challenge on how to price your product. It's something, so she helps people with sales. It's something that people ask her pretty much on a daily basis. I
Mm.
just created something. How should I price it? Or I have this new coaching group. How should I price it? So you have to be listening for that topic. And then it doesn't matter who else offers what kind of challenges. If you know that you personally addressing with your challenge the top of mind problem that your ideal clients already have, you're going to have no problems filling your challenge.
Mm. Yeah. And I love that. Thank you for sharing that example as well, because I think that really brings it home for people like, okay, start listening. What are people saying? What are people asking from you? And then I want to ask, like, what has been the biggest lesson or surprise that you have learned during doing your own challenges?
Surprise. Oh, there have been so many lessons learned and surprises along the way. So I'll share one, and if I can think of more interesting ones, I'll share with you as well. So one thing I realized is your challenge needs to be finished, complete, and doable, and kind of wrapped up in the within the 5 days. Because in my formula, we don't sell during the 5 days. To
Mm.
stay in integrity, and because everybody says like anything you sign up for is just a thinly veiled attempt to sell at you. When I created my challenge formula, it was like, I promised you 5 free days of training. I'm going to give you 5 free days of training. And that's what people really appreciate about my challenges. And that's why they stick to it, because I don't start selling them halfway through and then they go, oh, now I have to pay more to get what you promised me. And anybody who does my format, like, it feels so much better because you're teaching, you're giving value away, and then you're leading people to that next logical step. So after the challenge is over, then you say, now, do you see how this is your next step? And so one of the challenges I've done probably about 4 or 5 years ago, it was a challenge that required people to get on the phone, connect with other people, have some conversations. And I didn't realize that most people would not be able to complete it within the 5 days of the challenge. So what I did was I asked them to schedule calls and have certain types of conversation, and there was like more action attached to that. And as the challenge was progressing, I realized that most people were scheduling phone calls for the following week, for 2 weeks from now, for 3 weeks from now. And very few people were actually accomplishing during the 5 days because, I mean, humans, people, schedules, right? So by the time my 5 day challenge was over, and then I said, okay, now you should do this next step. people said like, well, let me first have those goals and then I'll decide if I want to take the next step. So the challenge was not complete, and like there was not a nice little wrapper on top of it that people felt like, yes, I finished this thing, now I'm ready for the next step. So it was kind of lingering, and we still had, I think we made like over $40,000 on that challenge. So even if you fail, challenges work really well. But like the big learning, the big surprise was like, ooh, I really have to make sure that people feel complete with whatever I promised them. So they feel free to take that next step versus saying, oh, let me implement this first. Let me see how it plays out over the next 20 days or over the next month, and then I'll make the decision. You want them to be ready to make that next decision as soon as the challenge is over, because that's how you turn your challenge participants into your clients.
Yes. And one of the things I really want to mention here as well, that you always deliver what you promise. And that has been like, for me, like the formula that you are sharing, that was like, whoa, because I've seen many different things. And I really love that you are delivering what you promise, and all your offers, it is like, okay, this is what you get. It's very clear. So
Well, and
that,
I think that's another part of it too, how people recognize and why people will come back and take that the same challenge again or take it the following year is the quality of the challenge. So what you are putting together and how you create your content. If people finish something and see the result, it makes a lot more impact than if you bombard them with information and they like after a couple of days they're overwhelmed and they can follow you. So the quality of the content and the amount of content matters a lot as well in terms of completions, because people won't be ready for the next step unless they've consumed everything you've presented to them over the 5 days and implemented it.
yeah. Yes, that's the key there as well.
Yes,
Implement, not just plan,
yes.
but actually get it done. And then, in your opinion, because you have seen and you have helped so many people with their challenges, me included. So, what is the number one mistake that people make with their challenges that makes them not profitable ones?
Yeah, so I would say the number one mistake that people make with their challenges is not choosing the right topic. So
Mhm.
the most obvious thing is not even think about what are you going to offer at the end. So if you just thinking like this sounds like a great topic for my challenge and not thinking how it would lead to your next offer, very often they're so disconnected that people don't see it as the next obvious step, as the next logical step. You can just say like, now that you've done this, you're probably wondering how to do that. If you can't do this, everything falls apart. You might have super engaged challenge. People might be saying, you're awesome, you're amazing, you just like gave us everything we wanted, but they won't be like, I don't understand why I would need to take that next step. So you end up with no clients. So that's kind of more obvious. Most people, I think, kind of know that the challenge needs to lead to your offer and it needs to be logically connected. But the second piece is a lot of people connected too closely and they pick the topic and the promise of their challenge too similar or too close to the topic of their actual offer. So I'm going to give you an example. Let's say you are selling a diet program. I was just talking to one of the coaches who does the health and weight loss. So she's like, I have this 5-step formula with 5 pillars over how to, like, all the things you need to do in order to improve your health and lose weight. So she was going to take a snippets of all of her 5 pillars and make it into 5 days. And logically, it makes sense, right? If
Mhm.
your formula consists, like your
That's
actual
great.
program that you're selling for a couple $1,000 has 5 steps, why not do a challenge that gives people highlights of each step?
Hmm.
So here's what happens if you make, and basically the promise was also like, here's how to start losing weight. So when people take a challenge that is highlight of your whole entire program or very similar process, like if your program is how to get clients on LinkedIn and your challenge is how to get your first client on LinkedIn, way too close. So what happens when people finish this? We as humans always think we know more than we really do. So as soon as we have like a little bit of information, we're like, oh, I got it. I got it. I don't need anything else. I know where I'm going. So when they realize, oh, here's the 5-step process, or here's how I get my first client, Like what people say is like, oh, now I know how to get my second, third, fourth, and fifth, so I don't need anything else.
Mhm.
Or once they see like, oh, this is your model, that's it. Like I don't need to pay more. I don't need to pay money. I don't need to invest in your offer to learn and what they think is more of the same. Like I don't need more information because I got enough to keep me moving. And you basically like if we're talking about the pain points that people have, like I need more clients or I need to lose weight, what happens is it's a pain point and it's agitated and we're like, oh, I need this, I really need this. And as soon as you give them basically a band-aid with your challenge, people go, oh, okay, I got enough to keep moving. So I see it time and time again because we have, as Katja, as you just said, we have the program called Fast, Easy, and Profitable Online Challenges, where we teach people step by step everything they need to do on how to design a challenge that converts, a challenge that can be highly profitable. And we have a lot of people signing up for our program after they've tried to do a challenge on their own. And I would say 80% of people, the mistake they've made was they made their challenge too similar to their offer. And that's what resulted in them getting very low sales or no sales at all, because you basically jeopardized the promise of your program by revealing too much and too similar things in your challenge.
And one of the mistakes I can add there that I almost made, and I'm so glad I didn't, was to think, how hard can it be to figure out the challenge? Like,
Yes.
I have participated, but there was so much, like, because you guide step by step. I was like, oh my goodness, thank you. That
There's a lot of nuances. It's interesting because even if you're just hearing me, it's like, oh, so just take 5 videos, record them or do them live and release to your people for 5 days. How hard can it be, right? But
yeah.
the nuances of what you need to do, what you need to reveal every day, how to get people into action, how to get them engaged and finish the challenge, and most importantly, how do you build up that desire so at the end of the challenge, people already asking you about your offer before you even made your offer. That's the key. And very few people do it right,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Yes.
So now, if someone has inspirations to start creating online challenges, my recommendation, of course, connect with Alina because that makes life so much easier. And I have done things, a lot of things the hard way. And now I realize there is the easier way. And one of the ways is to connect with someone who has done it successfully before. And I know you also promised a gift for our
Yeah.
audience because if that might be the first step, and then they can check it out and reach out as well to get more support if they want. So,
Yeah. So one of the questions that I get asked a lot is like, what does it actually take to put a challenge together? What do I need to create? What are the elements? What do I need to have ready before I even start promoting the challenge? So in my program, the Fast, Easy, and Profitable Online Challenges formula, we have a checklist on everything that needs to be created, and it includes what images you need to create, what opt-in pages you need to create, what kind of emails you need, what other pieces you need to have in place in order to run a successful challenge. Everything that you need to have before the challenge, during the challenge, and even after the challenge is over. So I am pulling it out of my course. So it's exactly the same checklist me and my team use. That's exactly the same checklist that everybody in my program uses. And I'm giving it to you as a complimentary gift because you are listening to Katya's show, and you're going to give them the link to it, and
yes,
basically
we will
inside you
do.
get yes, inside you'll find all of the essential elements you need to have. There's going to be a little bit more of explanations of what challenges are, what kind of challenges you can create, some examples of challenges, and then several pages of the actual checklist boxes where you can go and say, okay, I created this. Or if you have a VA, you can just hand it to them and say, this is what we need to have in place in order for me to run the challenge. It's super popular, and I hope you enjoy it.
Yes, and it's super popular because it is a golden one. It helps. I still have that. I still like check on it just to ensure that you are doing things in the right order. So that is wonderful gift. So thank you so much. And now, as we are wrapping up here, do you have a special message that you would like to share as we are ending here?
Sure. So first of all, if you sign up for this checklist, we're going to have a series of additional free trainings happening. So you're going to get invitation to that right away. And if you want to hear more about my process, about some of the other mistakes people make with challenges and some of the things you should be doing instead to actually get like hit the ball out of the ballpark on your very first swing, so you don't have to go through trial and error, I would invite you to come to these trainings and these master classes. And the second thing is challenges are not going anywhere. Even though you might be seeing them everywhere and you'd be like, oh, am I too late to the party? No, the party is just getting started. And if you are not using challenges in your business, you're really missing out on a really low cost, low tech way of getting clients online fast. It's a really a method that works. That's why everybody's excited about it. But it's really only like in the very initial, like sort of the exponential growth of what the challenges can do for you. So I would highly recommend that you check it out. At the very least, see what it can do for you. Look at some of the examples. Look at what kind of results people have been getting. We have people in the program who made $1,000, $3,000, $10,000, even $250,000 with their very first challenge. So results could be anything. You can sell low cost items. You can sell high end packages of $10,000, $25,000. You can sell products. You can sell services. You can sell coaching. So it's such a versatile tool that I would say, if you're listening to this right now, if you've had it in the back of your head that maybe I should check out what these challenges are, I really invite you to check it out and do it, because you're going to be so surprised with the results you could get.
Yes, and do it now. You can just
Do it
go
now.
below.
Yes.
Go
Yes.
below.
Download the checklist, get invited to one of our trainings, find out more how it can apply to your business. And if you decide to join us, I would be happy to support you on your journey in creating your own profitable challenge.
Yes, and thank you so much, Alina, for your time today and all your work and support. Support also from that you have given to me. I wouldn't be here without you. And thank you all for watching the Path to Purpose interview show. I look forward to seeing you and creating your own online challenges.